Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Shami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Shant Shant Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Let's take a sankalp. Okay, so we were looking at the benefits of getting Atma Jnyanam. Itna pura ek saal ka course we did in order to understand Atma Jnyanam. Now we know also what is Atma Jnyanam. So now we were looking at the benefits of gaining Atma Jnyanam. And we said that the benefits of Atma Jnyanam, they come in two forms. Firstly, Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means, it literally means freedom while we are living here, now, in this world. Okay? Idhar jane ki zarurat nahi hai. We don't need to go to Vaikuntha. We don't need to go to Kailasha. We don't need to go to Swargaloka. Nothing like that. Here, now, where in whichever present condition we are, we can enjoy that moksha, that Jivan Mukti over here. That is the first benefit. So it comes in the form of independence, that is swatantriyam, independence, like psychological independence, not physical independence. We have spoken about it in detail. Then purnatvam, we enjoy that fullness, that completeness, that limitlessness. Okay, we don't feel the lack of anything. And finally, samatvam means equanimity, balance of mind. So this Jivan Mukti we can enjoy in these three ways. And then we started talking about Videha Mukti. That is the second form in which we can enjoy the benefit of Atma Jnyanam. So Videha Mukti means freedom after death. Okay. So then we said that for that, first we need to understand what happens to an Agmyani after death, a person who has not gained Atma Jnana, a person who is ignorant. So what happens to such a person after death? And we saw that such a person just gives up the physical body, but the Sukshma Shariram, the Karana Shariram, it is still there. He is still associated with that, right? So what happens? Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jathare Shayanam. Means again and again, dying, taking rebirth, dying, taking rebirth, dying, taking rebirth. The whole cycle continues. Okay, the whole cycle, the whole the painful process of Vidhi, Vyadhi, Jara, Maranam. So means worries, old age, pains, decay, death, and then rebirth, and then the whole story again in whichever form, whichever body, in the human body, in the animal body, the plant body, whatever body we get, depending on our karma. So the painful cycle of samsara continues for an Ajnani, for a person who has not gained self-knowledge. So now, what happens in the case of a Jnani? So it is said in the scriptures that in the case of a Jnani, at the time of death, all the three bodies, that is the Sthula Shariram, the Sukshma Shariram, and the Karana Shariram, all these three bodies, they merge into the Samashti. So individual bodies, they will merge into universal bodies. Vyashti Shariras, they will merge into Samashti. So the Shariratrayam, that will merge into Prapanchatrayam. So how does it happen? The Sthula Shariram, our gross body, that merges into Sthula Prapancha. That we all know, right? The gross body, when the gross body dies, what happens? We burn it or we bury it or whatever. In whatever way, it decomposes, it disintegrates and merges with the Sthula Pancha Mahabhutas, right? So then there is no individuality left of the Sthula Shariram. It has merged with the universal gross body, the gross universe, the Sthula Prapancha. That we all have seen, that we all know. Exactly in the same way, the Sukshma Shariram, it merges into the Sukshma Prapancha, the subtle universe. And the Karana Shariram of the individual, it merges with the Karana Prapancha. That means the Jnani does not survive as an individual at all. The Jnani does not survive as an individual, but he survives as the Samashti. The Jnani survives as the total. So he is no more called a Jivatma. There is no more a Jivatma. Because only when the body is there, whether it is a Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira or Karana Sharira, only when the body is there, a Jnani, a Jiva can be called Jivatma. Okay, the term Jivatma can be applied. But when all the three bodies are gone, the Shariratrayam is gone, the name Jivatma does not apply only. Then what happens? There is no Jivatma. He has become one with the Paramatma. So Jivatma has now become Paramatma. The Ghatakash and the Mahakash, they have become one. As the walls of the pot in the form of the Shariratrayam have disintegrated and gone. There are no more walls. There is no wall of the gross body. There is no wall of the subtle body. There is no wall of the causal body also. So there is no more, the pot is completely disintegrated. तो क्या हुआ? घटाकाश और महाकाश दोनों एक हो गए ना? So Jivatma, Paramatma have united. There is no, so basically that individuality, just as the river loses its individuality when it merges into the ocean. So before merging into the ocean, you can call it Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Godavari, Narmada, Kaveri, whatever. So they have all these names, they have different forms, they have different functions before merging into the ocean. But once they have merged into the ocean, we cannot say this is Ganga, this is Yamuna. They are all one. It is only the ocean. So Ajnani merges with the Paramatma. So similarly, the Jnani becomes one with the Paramatma. So there is no question of Punarjanma. There is no Sukshma Shariram, there is no Karana Shariram associated with the individual. So the Sukshma Shariram, the Karana Shariram are not surviving only to acquire another Sthula Shariram. जब सूक्ष्म शरीरम होगा, जब कारण शरीरम होगा, तो ही we will acquire another gross body, right? So videha mukti is this. It is freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Yes, Siddharth, question.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हम पहले जब हमारा भौतिक जगत में हम आए तो उसके पहले भी हमारी स्थिति यही थी ना, we are same as Paramatma, right?
No, that time we were still a Jivatma, but in an unmanifest form. We were still, our Karana Shariram was there, no? The Sanchita Karma baggage was there, no? Our Sukshma Shariram was also there. We said the Sukshma Shariram also travels Janma after Janma, right?
Okay.
So this was not the condition at that time.
Okay.
Yes. So this is Videha Mukti, freedom from samsara. We will look into that in more detail. So now the question comes that how does Jnanam give this benefit of Videha Mukti? मतलब Atma Jnyanam, हमें जो सेल्फ नॉलेज मिल जाता है, उसका इस विदेह मुक्ति से क्या कनेक्शन है? So you understand what I'm saying, that okay, videha mukti means thus we don't come into the cycle of samsara again, we don't take birth again, but how does it happen? How does Atma Jnyanam bring that? So scriptures say that Atma Jnyanam stops punarjanma by destroying all the karmas. They destroy all the karmas. So now the question is that what do you actually mean by karma? So what is karma and what is the law of karma? That is what we are going to discuss again for the last time now, including the points which we have not covered so far in this topic of law of karma. Okay, so let's look into that. See, we have seen that the benefits of Atma Jnyanam are Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. And we saw that Videha Mukti means freedom from Punarjanma, freedom from rebirth, freedom from this cycle of birth and death, coming back to samsara, right? Now to understand what is freedom from rebirth and what is how Jnanis get this freedom from rebirth, we should know the law of karma, because the law of karma is the only principle behind this rebirth, right? And so the law of karma is also the principle behind freedom from rebirth. हम rebirth ले रहे हैं because of our karmas, because of the law of karma, in order to experience the fruits of our actions. So the freedom from rebirth will also depend on the law of karma only, correct? So videha mukti can be understood only when we have done this, only when we have understood the law of karma very well. And that is the reason, even though we have done this topic before, this time we will study the law of karma as an angam of videha mukti, as a part, as a component of videha mukti, from the context of videha mukti. Okay, so we'll study the law of karma, which is one of the most important laws of the Vedic teaching. So the first principle that we should remember in the law of karma is that every deliberate action that we do, okay, not the involuntary actions, okay, not breathing, not blinking our eyes, not the heartbeat, every deliberate action, every willful action that we do, that produces two kinds of results. Okay, one is called the visible result, that is the drishta phalam. We have seen this, we have seen all this like right in the beginning of our course. So two forms of result, any deliberate action brings two forms of result. One is called the drishta phalam, the visible result, and the other is called the invisible result, the adrishta phalam. Now, if our action is a good action, okay, then there is a good visible and adrishta and invisible result. Okay, both will be good. And if it is a bad action, then there is a bad visible and invisible result to it. For example, okay, I give some charity, or I feed some people, or any good action, any paropkara action that I do, then the visible result with respect to me, okay, not to the receiver, but with respect to me, is that what happens visibly. Kya hota hai? Say I have given some charity to somebody. Okay, say I have given 1,000 rupees. So what happens? Visible result में ये होता है कि मेरे actual bank balance में से वो amount deduct हो जाता है, right? वो amount कम हो जाता है. That is the visible result. I can see that. That is a drishtaphalam. Another drishtaphalam, what happens? I get this satisfaction. I get this joy, this happiness of giving. That is also a drishtaphalam on my side, on when I get that drishtaphalam. Now on the other side, the visible result for the other people who are receiving the charity. For those people, what happens? The drishtaphalam could be that maybe they are fed or clothed or sheltered. So these are all the visible results, okay, which everybody knows. We can see, we can perceive the visible results. And that is why they are called drishtaphalam. The second result is that since I have done a noble action of helping somebody, okay, since I have done a nishkam karma, a paropkara karma of helping somebody, it produces an invisible result, which is called adrishtam. And because this action is good, so I get a su-adrishtam. Okay, su-adrishtam means positive or good invisible result. Okay, तो ये तो अच्छा काम करने का result हुआ. अच्छा काम करने से you get su-adrishtam. Now, on the other hand, if I do a parapedanam act, like say I cheat somebody, okay, I cheat somebody and then I earn some money. The visible result is that there is an increase in my bank balance. The visible result is that somebody else is hurt. Somebody else के bank balance में से पैसा कम हुआ है in an inappropriate manner. Okay. So it is an improper action. I have hurt somebody. Okay, there is a message. I will just check the message in some time. Yeah. So what happens? Since I have cheated somebody, it is an improper action. It is a parapedanam action. I have hurt somebody. So the invisible result for that will be what? It will be a negative result. So even though I escape the laws of the government by cheating intelligently or by bribing or by any other means like that, even though I have this visible increase of money in my bank, but there is an invisible negative result, which is called duradrishtam, negative invisible result. Okay. And the good invisible result or the adrishtam, which the su-adrishtam is what we call punyam, and the duradrishtam, the negative invisible result is what we call papam. Okay. So every deliberate action, in addition to the visible result, it produces punyam or papam, depending on our action. So the definition of punyam is positive but invisible result. And the definition of papam is negative but invisible result. Okay. So this is the first principle in the law of karma, punyam and papam, the adrishtaphalams of our action. Now, the next principle to be remembered is that what produces punyam and what produces papam, that is determined based on two norms. Okay. The first norm is the scriptural injunctions. Means the Shastra Vihit and Pratishiddha karma. So whatever actions that the scriptures promote, whatever actions the scriptures prescribe, such actions will produce punyam. They are called Vihit karmas. They are prescribed by the Shastras. And whatever actions the scriptures prohibit, such actions will produce papam. They are called pratishiddha or nishiddha karmas. So suppose an action produces visibly good result, but the Shastras prohibit them. So even though they are producing a visibly good result, yet if the Shastras are prohibiting them, that means they should not be done. That means they will bring papam. Okay, like there could be so many things, like say maybe this same thing, like cheating somebody and taking money. It brings visibly a good result, right? It visibly, hamara bank balance बढ़ रहा है, we are getting in a more comfortable situation. So visibly, it is bringing a good result, but it is prohibited by the Shastras, right? So it is a nishiddha karma. It brings adrishta papam. Yes, Siddharth.
हमने शुरुआत के लेक्चर्स में देखा था कि क्रोध, we have to control क्रोध.
Yes.
But you know, in Bhagavad Gita, like Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight, and without Krodh, how can one fight?
Why not? I mean, see, simple example. If you have to correct your child, okay, you don't need to like feel angry, right, to correct your child, but you need to be stern in order for the child to understand that yes, this is wrong and it should not be done. Right? So you don't need to fall prey to these Shadvairis in order to do the right thing. And the war was absolutely not out of anger. Then the whole purpose of the war would be defeated if it was out of anger. The war was a Dharma Yuddha. It was out of compassion. It was out of doing the right thing. It was absolutely not out of any of the Shadvairis. Not even Kama. It was not even because they wanted the kingdom or anything like that. It was a Dharma Yuddha. It was in order to establish righteousness in the society. Right? Okay. So the first thing is, it should be Shastra Vihita Karma. And the second norm is that कि बहुत बार क्या होता है कि as the society progresses and all that, there are so many things that are there today which may not be mentioned in the Shastras literally, like say traveling by train, taking a flight, taking a vacation in outer space. So there is no vidhi nishedh for all these newer and newer activities which are being invented. So then what is the norm of judgment? तो हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि ये सब चीजें करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए? So in that case, the norm is based on a motive. What is the intention behind my action? Is it a good and noble intention? So if it is a good and noble intention, then the karma will produce punyam. If it is immoral, if it is parapidanam, it produces papa. Okay. So based on the norms of Shastric injunction and our motive, we decide whether a karma can bring us punyam or it can bring us papam. So that is, it just becomes a guideline for us to act. So this is the second principle. okay, of the law of karma, right? But like I said, we have not studied the Shastras, so we don't actually know that, okay, what Shastras call Veda and what Shastras call Pratishiddha. So in that case, what can we do? So simple, सबसे basic fundamental जो मैंने start of the course ही बोला था, you have to like ingrain it in your mind. Atmani pratikulani paresham na samacharet. For the smallest of the action that you do, be mindful that you are doing to someone what you would be okay if that is done unto you. Okay? ठीक है, हमने शास्त्र नहीं पढ़े हैं, तो there is no excuse. हमें पता है कि हमें क्या अच्छा लगता है और हमें क्या बुरा लगता है कोई हमारे साथ करे तो वो नहीं करना है. Simple. Secondly, do not miss your niyat karmas, yagna, dana, tapa. So these, so panchamaha all that. And thirdly, do all your actions with the right intention, with the right motive. ये action करने के पीछे check कीजिए एक बार कि what is our motive? Is that some selfish intention? Would that selfish intention bring some harm to somebody? Check it before doing that. Okay? So this is the fundamental of Punyam and Papam. Now the next principle that we have to remember is that all the invisible Punyams and all the invisible Papams, so all these adrishtams, in due course of time, they will be converted into visible form, they will crystallize into visible form. And that visible form is visible Sukham and visible Dukkham. So all invisible Punyams and Papams in due course will be converted into Drishta Sukham or favorable conditions and Drishta Dukkham or unfavorable conditions. So the Punyam, they will crystallize into Sukham or pleasure, and the Papam will crystallize into Dukkham or pain. Pain means, it could be any form of pain, okay? It could be any form of tapatrayam, which we had talked about. It could be physical, it could be emotional, psychological, financial, or relationship pain, any form of pain, right? So this adrishta punya papam, they will manifest into drishta sukham and dukkham. Okay, they will get converted into something that is tangible, something that we can experience. But the thing is, we can never say that for how long a particular punyam, a particular papam will stay dormant. For means how long will it take to get converted into sukham or dukkham? So this duration of conversion, that is not uniform. So today's punyam can become tomorrow's sukham also, or maybe today evening sukham also, or it could be day after tomorrow's sukham, or next decade sukham, or next janma's sukham. We can't say what is the gestation period. Okay, nobody knows what is the incubation period. Means we cannot say ki for how long my punyam will remain dormant. So punyams can become sukham at any time, and papam can become dukkham at any time. The duration that we will never know. So then who knows that duration? Who knows when the results will come? So obviously, whoever gives the result, the giver of the result, the karma phala data knows. Okay, the karma phala data precisely and accurately dispenses the phalam. So some karmas, some punyams can give immediate sukham, and some punyams can give benefits later. The example given in the Shastra is different type of seeds which are planted on the same day. Okay, आज ही के दिन से we plant papaya seeds, we plant mango seeds, we plant coconut seeds. Okay, now even though the dates of plantation is the same, different seeds take different duration of time to become to even germinate. Why to talk about becoming a full-fledged tree? They take different times to germinate, to become into a tree, to produce fruits. A papaya seed it can germinate, it can develop and give fruit very soon, but a mango tree may take one generation to start giving fruits. So this gestation period, it is all inbuilt in the punyam itself. So we can never say कि अच्छा मैंने इतना अच्छा काम आज किया तो मुझे आज फल मिल जाएगा. ऐसा हम कभी नहीं कह सकते. Okay, so now once this is understood, we derive another corollary. कि since punyams and papams, they can fructify at different durations, जो हमें पता नहीं है कब fructify होंगे. So that means that my punyams and my papams of this janma may not fructify in this janma itself, which means that in this lifespan of every human being, there are some unfructified punyam and papam which get left as remainders. समझा? मतलब जरूरी नहीं है कि मैंने इस जन्म में जो भी पाप पुण्य किए हैं उसका फल मुझे इसी जन्म में मिल जाएगा, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. तो क्या होगा, कुछ पाप पुण्य फल दिए बिना ही रह जाएंगे, है ना, वो बच जाएंगे. राइट? सो I don't say that all the punya papams remain unfructified in this janma. There are many punyas and many papams which may fructify even today. They may fructify tomorrow, next week, in this janma. But there can be many, and there will be many unfructified punya papams which will be accumulated in my account, right? In my punya papa bank account. And because of this unfructified punya papam, we will have to take punarjanma. We will have to take an appropriate body for experiencing the sukham and dukkham of these unfructified punya papam, for reaping the results of our action. अगर ऐसा नहीं होता तो क्या होता? अगर ऐसा नहीं होता, then what people would do? People would just keep, they would live like charvaks, okay? They would just live yavat jivet sukham jivet, what? Rinam kritva gritam pibet. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragaman kutaha. So where are you? Like we can beg, borrow, steal, do anything, just enjoy life, keep on doing papa karmas, and then maybe we can just commit suicide to just end all the problems, right? In fact, most people even think that way. Most people, they will think that by just dying, they can escape all the dukkham, which are actually the phalam of their own papa karmas. The dukkham that we are getting are the phalam of our papa karmas only, which are done previously. So they think that it is a wonderful way of escaping from the moral order of law. Dying, committing suicide. कि हाँ अभी इतना पाप कर्म हो गया, अब I can escape from these dukkhams by ending this life. But one can escape from any criminal law of the country by several methods, but one can never escape from the cosmic moral laws, the laws of Ishvara. We can never escape from that. Even if we kill this body, another body will be produced. And in that new body, we will then have to pay for this additional papam of committing suicide along with the previous papams. So we are just adding more to the already accumulated ones. So this is the reason the law of karma makes it necessary to have repeated birth and death, repeated birth and death. So this present birth is actually only one of the very long chain of births and deaths that we have been having. It is just one of them. So we have had innumerable past janmas, and we will have innumerable past janmas if we postpone our moksha. So it is important that we gain moksha here and now, get done with it. Okay. So this cycle of birth and death is caused by the law of karma. This is the principle of the law of karma. Now our scriptures point out that this law of karma, okay, this whole principle of punyam, papam, punarjanma, all this has to be very, very clearly understood and very, very clearly assimilated by every individual. In fact, Shastra says that it is in fact more important than self-knowledge also for the in the beginning. It should happen much before self-knowledge and more important than self-knowledge, because self-knowledge is the next higher knowledge. The law of karma is the fundamental thing that everyone needs to know, understand, and assimilate. Because that is where all the problems in life start. So we should know that law of karma is functioning at all times, right from the type of family, from the type of house, country, environment, wife, husband, children, body, mind, senses. Everything is based on the law of karma. So there is in Padma Purana, there is a verse. It says, "Runanubandha rupena pashu patni sut alaya runakshaye kshayanti tatra parivedana." Means every relationship, okay, it is a result of the previous birth bondage only. Once this debt is cleared, once this previous birth bondage death of punyam, papam associations is cleared, there is no relationship, and hence the end of suffering from this samsara. So every problem is actually associated with the law of karma only. The more we assimilate this law, the healthier will be our attitude towards the problems of our life. And so we should pay a lot of attention and completely absorb the law of karma. So the advantages of assimilating the law of karma are that, firstly, it will bring some healthy changes in our attitude. Okay. So what are the changes that it will bring in our attitude? The first advantage is that the law of karma, it explains the disparity that we see in this world, the differences in the living beings that we see in this world. हमें कितने बार ये क्वेश्चन होता है ना कि why are living beings born differently? Why are some of them are animals, some are plants, some are human beings, and even among human beings, some are born with a silver spoon or a golden spoon. Some are born in slums. Some are born with some congenital diseases. Some are born with good skills. Even children born to the same parents, they are completely different. Even twins for that matter. One may become a criminal, other might become a saint. How do you explain this disparity? You cannot merely say genetics, because the same set of parents also, so many times, the same set of parents, they have so many children, but out of all these children, only one child might get might just inherit some disease, might get diabetes. So all are healthy. one has gotten diabetes. How do you explain that disparity? So there are innumerable, inexplainable, inexplicable phenomena in this world, and all of them can be explained only in one way, and that is through the law of karma. And if you don't accept the law of karma, that means what? That means that you are saying ki I don't accept the law of karma. That means everything that is happening in this world is in a way only by chance. Okay, it is just like randomly happening. Just believe theory of chance. An intelligent person will never accept the theory of chance. Because if we observe our universe, okay, if we observe if you just zoom in, itna microcosm mein bhi jaake dekhenge, ya zoom out, and in the galaxies, anywhere you will see that there is such a fantastic order in the universe. The creation is so orderly manifested. It is so orderly created. Science every day proves that the creation is governed by laws. And wherever there is law, there is an order. There is a system. We see an order in everything in this universe, no? There is an order in the rotation of the planets, in the revolution of all the celestial bodies. Then there is an order in the cyclic weather conditions. There is an order in day, night. There is an order in our body temperature also. Who is maintaining this body temperature? There is an order, right? Then the pumping of our heart, the pumping of the blood, the conversion of food into nutrients and getting absorbed in the bloodstream. All these things, there is such a fantastic order in everything in this universe. The same mathematical Fibonacci series, okay, it is there in so many aspects of nature, from the smallest of the thing like a shell or a sunflower, the arrangement of the sunflower seeds, to the galaxies. The same Fibonacci series is followed. Itna sahi order, itna accurate order, itna precise. How can it be by chance? There is nothing random in this universe. So when everything in the universe is in such a precise order, how can we say that these differences, this disparity that we see in the universe, they are just by chance? वो खाली randomly है. It is not a random event. It is not a coincidence that, you know, a particular person is born in a particular environment or with a particular set of instruments. Okay, it is not a coincidence. It is only there because of the law of karma. It is the law of karma that explains these differences. So this is the first advantage. हमको clearly समझ में आ जाएगा, clearly accept हो जाएगा कि okay, this is the reason behind the differences. The second advantage is that this law of karma, it helps me in accepting all the inexplainable suffering that I get. We keep hearing, even we keep saying so many times that, अरे यार, I have been such a good person. मैंने तो सभी चीज सही की है. I have been so good to everyone. I have not done anything wrong in my life. Then why should I go through all these problems? So when I'm not able to accept my problem, when I just go on asking why me, मेरे साथ क्यों ऐसे हो रहा है, at that time the law of karma helps in accepting, because I know that I am the only one responsible for each and every suffering that I am going through. It is because of my immediate past action or because of my remote past action. But nonetheless, my good bad experiences are only and only due to my own past actions. I may not remember that remote past. Okay, I may not remember कि कौन से action के वजह से ये हो रहा है, because I have Purusha Buddhi dosha, so limited access to memory, right? I don't remember all my janmas, right? So, but this forgetfulness does not prove non-existence. हम भूल गए हैं, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हुआ नहीं है. There are innumerable past pap karmas also that I have done. They produce negative results. So I am responsible for each and every one of my suffering. I will not blame anyone in this world. So blaming, no, that is the most natural tendency. We always tend to blame someone or the other in the world. We blame our parents, we blame our wife, our husband. If nothing, we blame the government. Finally, if nobody is available, we blame the stars, Shani, Rahu, Ketu, right? So we blame everyone else. So we see that all of us have a resistance in taking responsibility for our own sorrow. But if we accept this law of karma, we realize that the people whom we are blaming, they are a mere courier delivery people. They are nothing else. They are just delivering, they are just nimitta matra, delivering the courier package of our suffering only, which we have only ordered through our karmas. So once we assimilate the law of karmas, then we attain this non-resistance. We attain this acceptance towards our situation. Titiksha becomes so much more easier if we accept this law of karma. We don't resist the sufferings. We accept the difficulties. And once we start accepting the difficulties, once we start owning up, once we start taking responsibility, then the intensity of our problems also reduce. It does not affect us so badly anymore. And as a result, there is a major reduction in the FIR also. Remember FIR? The frequency, intention, and recovery time of emotional disturbances. So, ये project नहीं मिला, client ने ऐसे किया, इसने ऐसे किया, उसने वैसे किया. Acceptance becomes much easier. And when that acceptance becomes easier, तो reaction भी कम हो जाएगा. Frequency of reaction भी कम हो जाएगा. Intensity of reaction भी कम हो जाएगा. And the time we take to recover from those kind of emotional disturbances, वो भी कम हो जाएगा. So this is the second advantage. Then the third advantage is that our faith in God will not be shaken if we accept the law of karma. Because see, even though I know that, see, I have been a good person right now. If I suffer, my suffering is not because there is an unjust God who is wanting to punish me. There is an unjust or unfair God who is making all bad things happen to me. No, God does not even have the power to do that. Okay. My suffering is only and only because of my remote past, my remote action, my remote past actions or my near past actions, which I don't remember right now. God can never be unjust. He is a precise karma phaladata. जो तुमने किया है, उसका ही फल तुमको आके मिलेगा. There is no injustice in the world. Okay, most of the people I talk to, most of the people I know who are not exposed to Vedanta, who are not exposed to the law of karma, they surely believe in this thing that there is so much injustice in the world. There is no injustice in the world. There just seems to be injustice because we do not recollect the past karmas. We do not remember what we or anyone else who is suffering has done in the past. And if I don't accept the law of karma, no, then when I suffer or when I see suffering in the world, I begin to question Ishvara's sense of justice. And there are so many, hardcore religious people, okay, very, very dharmish, who do not understand the law of karma. And then what happens? They have been very religious throughout their life and everything. एक छोटा सा बुरा चीज होता है उनकी जिंदगी में, and because of that suffering, they turn atheist. They become non-believers. They say भगवान होता ही नहीं है, भगवान होता तो मेरे साथ ऐसे कैसे होने देता, मैं तो सब चीज अच्छा करती हूँ, मेरे साथ ऐसे कैसे होने देता. So this is what happens, that we lose faith in God. And we have seen all through our study, our course, that it is so important to have that Shraddha. Otherwise, if there is no Shraddha, how do you have Bhakti? Right? So that Shraddha is so important. And the Shraddha will never be shaken if you assimilate this law of karma. God is an absolutely fair, just karma phala data. Nothing else. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I have no favorites. Aisa nahi hai ki I have a prejudice against somebody, hence that person is suffering. I have a favorism for somebody, hence that person is enjoying. No. Just a karma phala data. I'm just delivering, I'm just dispensing whatever are your karma phalas. That's all that is my job. Even if I want to, I cannot change those things. Now, the next benefit is that if I accept the law of karma, then I can take responsibility for my own future. I can take charge of my life. Because the law of karma says that my present situation is nothing but the result of my past action. Right? And because the law of karma says that my present situation is the result of my past action, so we can extend this further and we can say that my future situation will depend upon my present action. Yes, Deepak ji. Question?
हाँ, मैम मान लेते हैं चलो पास्ट जन्म में कुछ बुरा किया हो हमने, ठीक है, इस जन्म में बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं.
Right.
कोई बंदा अगर चीटिंग या फ्रॉड कर रहा है, ठीक है, उससे अपने कर्म का फल मिलेगा. बट उसकी एक्शन से हम जो मेंटली या फाइनेंशियली डिस्टर्ब होते हैं, उसका क्या? उसकी वजह से सबको उस दृष्टि से देखना पड़ रहा है, ठीक है, ये भी गलत हो सकता है बंदा. एंड उसके प्रति हमारी विचारधारा कैसी होगी? नेचुरली बद्दुआ या कर्सी निकलेगी. इसमें से कैसे बाहर आए या उसके प्रति कैसे पॉजिटिव सोचना है?
So exactly this is the law of karma is the answer. Deepak ji, why were you placed in that situation? Why was, मतलब आप वो सिचुएशन में आए क्यों कि आपको वो चीटिंग सहन करना पड़ा? ऐसा नहीं है कि उसके सर्कल में सब लोगों को ये चीटिंग सहन करना पड़ा, द मेंटल ट्रॉमा सहन करना पड़ा. So I am in that situation of facing that because of my past karma. मुझे I mean I had to experience the phalam of some past. It could be any हजारों जन्म पहले का भी कोई leftover karma phala hoga. But I am in that situation. That means whatever I have to face, it is because of my karma done any other time. Once you accept that, once you take the responsibility कि हाँ मेरे action के वजह से ही I am placed in that situation, इसके वजह से ही I have to bear that injustice what he is doing to me, the mental trauma. एक बार आप वो accept कर लेंगे तो वो बद्दुआ निकलेगी ही नहीं, because you know that giving that बद्दुआ again is a parapedanam action. Why do you want to get into any negative action? Because that again is going to influence your future. It is going to, any kind of manasa karma also is going to create phalam, no? So manasa karma also has to be as good as possible. My teacher says कि जो ऐसे दुखी करता है ना, he says that go to the extent of giving a rose to that person. That go ahead, go and give a rose, give some flowers to that person. Itna nahi hota hai, then also no problem. Just maybe just think good about that person. You know, whoever is doing that to you, mentally just bless that person. Pray for that person. Things will change.
Right, ma'am.
Right? Always understand, relate this every situation to the law of karma. That why are you placed in that particular situation? उन्होंने क्यों हमारे साथ ही ये किया? I always give this example that why are we born in a peaceful country? Why are we not in Afghanistan right now? Why are we not under Taliban right now? There is a reason for that, right? Yes. So that is there. So here I'm coming to the same thing, that हमको ये पता है कि हमारी जो present situation है वो हमारे past कर्मों की वजह से. So we can extend it further and we can say that my future situation will depend on my present action. So what would an intelligent person do? I can intelligently live in the present, and that way I can influence my future. See, I cannot totally control my future because there are lots of other invariables also coming from like many past janmas, but I can greatly influence my future. And that way I can avoid fatalism. ये fatalism का question ना हमारे like most of the people believe that Hindu Dharma or Vedanta philosophy, it is all fatalism. Sab naseeb ke upar. So fatalism means passive dependence on fate. So the doctrine that all the events, they are subject to naseeb. So inevitable necessity. Matlab, it cannot change. Mera naseeb hi kharab hai. So I rather be passive and just go where my naseeb takes me. No. I can accept that I do have a free will. I have the freedom to choose my future because my future depends on my present karma. Therefore, the law of karma, it restores my free will and it prevents this fatalistic tendencies. Okay, it avoids to fall into this naseeb dependence. Ki mera naseeb hi aisa hai. So people actually think the opposite. People think that the law of karma leads to fatalism because they think that whatever I am doing, whatever I'm going to experience, it is already determined by my past karma. So I cannot change it. So what is the point in doing anything? I am going to anyways get what I'm going to get, whether good or bad. तो वो तो मुझे मिलने ही वाला है. तो क्या मतलब है कुछ करने का? That is fatalism. In fact, the law of karma is the antidote to fatalism because the law of karma tells me that I alone am responsible for my present situation due to my past actions. So I alone am responsible for my future also. Right? So if I don't accept the law of karma, what will be my conclusion? If I don't accept the law of karma, I will say that somebody else is responsible for my present situation. Say the client that you were talking about, who's cheating with you, who is giving you all the mental trauma. That person is responsible for putting you in that situation. Or anyone, parents, wife, in-laws, neighbors, boss. So we just try to put the blame on someone else for our present situation. And if somebody else is responsible for my present situation, somebody else will be responsible for my future also. That means my future is not in my hands. So if we don't accept the law of karma, I give my life in the hands of fatalism, in the hands of naseeb. And if I accept the law of karma, then I am accepting my free will. I am accepting the freedom to shape my future. I have the power to shape my future. So what I should be doing, that is in my hands. I have the free will to do the right thing. So I have the free will to shape my future. This is a very, very big advantage. I will just take a little more time. So we look at one more advantage of the law of karma.
I'm sorry, Charles,
Yes.
1 second. You can take a little more time, but 7:30 Bilwa will start.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
No issues. I'm just saying it is 7:18 right now. So
Right,
if it's
right.
a new topic, then maybe next class you can take it. Small thing, you may take it. 7:25
5 more minutes. I will end by this. 7:25. Yeah, just one more advantage I want to talk about is that the law of karma, it answers one of the fundamental questions asked by many people, especially the young people. So when we talk about ethical way of life, okay, good way of life, when we talk about those kind of things, especially to the younger generation, ki aisa hi jeena chahiye, ethical way, moral way mein jeena chahiye. So what happens, most of the youngsters, they will say that if you say that ethical life is a blessing and unethical life is harmful, so if that is your theory, then how come so many good people, in fact, people whom we see, how come they are suffering? And how come all the corrupt people, all the people who are doing all sorts of wrong things, how come all those people are having such a great life? So if we look at these kind of situations in the world, then yes, I agree that our natural conclusion will be that this person has been ethical throughout his life, yet he suffers, and some other person did all possible akramams, all possible wrong actions, yet he is having such a comfortable life. So our conclusion will be that ki haan, if you want to be happy, do papa karmas, do akramam. This will be our conclusion. Especially our children will conclude that way. So it is a wrong conclusion because it is based on superficial observation. So how do you answer such people? Can you say that yes, ye correct hai, तो तुम करप्ट बनो और अच्छे से बस comfortable life जियो? No. We can restore morality and dharma in the society only if we bring this law of karma into place. Only and only law of karma will explain this phenomenon properly. The law of karma explains that the present good person, okay, ये जन्म अभी के लिए जिसने जो सब good karmas कर रहा है, the present ethical person is suffering not because of his present good karmas, but because of his past unethical actions. And the suffering that he is going through in the present is nothing but the exhaustion of those past pap karma phalas. The rule that unethical actions always hurt and ethical actions always bring good results, that always stands true. We can never say that be corrupt, it will give you a comfortable life. We can never say that. So whether you are good in the present or bad in the present, okay, the present good person suffers not because of the present goodness. The present goodness will never ever lead to suffering. The present good person suffers because of past unethical actions. And the person who is presently corrupt and enjoying a comfortable life is not because he's corrupt, not because he's doing wrong things that he is enjoying all these luxuries and comfort in life. He is enjoying it because of some past very, very good karmas. Okay, Krishna says that if you do good things, you will be born in a very Shrimant family and all that. So because of your good actions done in the past, you are enjoying this. But it is a matter of time. these good karma phalas will get exhausted in no time. They will get exhausted, and then again you are in the pit, right? So the rule is that ethical action blesses, unethical action hurts. Paropkara punyaya, parapeedanam papaya. Simple rule. So it is important that we be ethical. So social morality also can be maintained only by the law of karma. Because ये नहीं समझेगा ना तो सबको यही दिख रहा है कि अरे दुनिया में हम यही देख रहे हैं कि whoever is doing all the following a corrupt lifestyle, they are totally enjoying. So dharma will keep on declining if you do not understand the law of karma. Yes, so I don't want to elaborate this further. We'll look into it in the next class. We'll end here.
Also, for everybody who is here, we just have 2 more classes left. So be there, especially on the last class, 30th of July. So we can end it together. Charvi, you would want to say that?
Yes. So on 30th of July, we'll consolidate the entire course. Thoda briefly, fatafat dekhenge. So we get an overview of what we have already seen. So try and be there, and we can meet at least, for the last time. Try and keep your videos open so I can at least see what each one of you looks like. And we'll conclude our class on 30th of July. All right. So now we'll end with the prayer and we'll quickly join Bilva. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you, everyone. And if anyone has a question regarding this session, then you can ask on the group. Yes, sorry, there was. Oh, yes. All right. Thank you. And let's join Bilva for this session. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.